Hey guys, let's get right into it. So this episode opens up with Ramona talking to Sonia about her party. She said that her party was such a great time. She had so much fun. Everybody was talking about it. And I was just like, were you at the same party? Because remember when you went off on production and threatened to quit the show? Like what party were you at? Because that's the party that we all saw. Anyway, she's talking about how amazing the party is. And she says to Sonia, the woman who stood on the mirror and intentionally broke it at your party, those decorations that you did not pay for, that you probably had to pay for now, she intentionally broke them and dragged you to everyone at your birthday party. You say to Sonia that the only snafu at your party was Leah, who pulled her dress up. Now, you guys know that I was team Ramona. Although she had a white woman only party, I still thought that the ladies, when she asked them to stop, should have adhered to her wishes. That's the only thing that I sided with her about. I didn't like Sonia breaking the decorations. I didn't like Leah saying, just calm down, we're just having fun. I get that. You're just having a good time. And honestly, to me, it wasn't a big deal. But the person whose party it is said they didn't like it and they wanted you to stop. That was my reasoning for it. Like I got where Ramona was coming from. I do not think that the only snafu at her party was Leah. I think that Ramona has an issue with Leah because she is a young woman in her 30s, and she has an issue with Leah because her husband left her for a young woman in her 30s. That's what it is. Leah is getting everything that Mario's side chick should have gotten. That's exactly what's happening here. When Ramona gets around any woman that is younger than her, especially this thin blonde hair white woman, just like the side chick, when she gets around her, she is triggered because Mario chose somebody like Leah. He chose a woman like Leah over Ramona, who he was married to, who gave him a child, who gave him this lifestyle. Ramona being the 1%er that she is and having all of this, money and status and power. So she thinks, right? Having all of this, it still wasn't enough to keep him. So instead of getting mad at the man who promised to love, honor, and respect you until death do you part, instead of getting mad at him, you get mad, like a lot of women do, at the other woman. You never get mad at the man that you got a blood covenant with. You never get mad at him, but you get mad at the woman who he chose to be with instead of you. He broke his vows to you, not that side chick. So what's happening is Ramona is devaluing herself next to Leah, and she starts to hate Leah because she doesn't feel like she can amount up to her. Because she feels like if it was her and Leah in a room, Mario would choose Leah. That's what's going on here. She's mad at Leah for no fault of Leah. Like Leah hasn't done anything to her. She's mad at her because of who she represents to her in her life. And even Dorinda said it. Dorinda was like, she hates you because of your youth. Which is very true, but I also think she is identifying with her as Mario's side chick. I think she sees that in her, and she gets so enraged and attacks Leah because she doesn't feel like she can amount up to Leah. Man, you're in your damn 60s. This is your golden years. You should be loving life. You should not be lowering yourself to go to war with a 37-year-old woman. You 30-something years older than her, and you got beef with her. Honestly, Ramona, considering your age, you got beef with a kid. You look ridiculous, Ma. Real ridiculous. You're over here going through all this mess over broke Mario. Girl, please. I swear, straight women deserve hazard pay. The things that we deal with men, my God, today, we deserve hazard pay. I cannot believe Miss 1% Ramona had to ask every woman at her party to donate $100 so that she could get a Gucci purse. Don't you got all this money? Aren't you a 1%er? Didn't your marriage not work out because you were so wealthy and Mario wasn't? Did you really do a GoFundMe for a Gucci bag? Not a Birkin. A Gucci bag. A purse that if we wanted to, we could buy with our stimulus. Some people probably have. Girl, bye. Ramona, I thought you were the 1%. I thought you were just so wealthy. Is that why you invited so many girlfriends? Because you calculated how much the Gucci purse that you wanted was going to be? So you decided to invite all these broads so that you could get that purse? See, this is why you ain't invite no black women. You ain't invite no women of color, period. Because women of color would have dragged you in the group chat and then came to your party and dragged you to your face and said, girl, I got you an Applebee's gift card. I'm not buying you no damn purse. You could do that with your 50 white girlfriends. You couldn't do that with nobody else. And here is why we need Leah on the show. Because when her and Dorinda were driving to Luann's charity event, they were talking about Ramona, having to GoFundMe for her Gucci bag. But then they were also talking about Leah dropped the tea that Ramona had a fake Gucci. So she did the GoFundMe, the birthday GoFundMe, so that she could get a real Gucci. And I'm just like, something's going on with the money in this group. Like, something is going on. I think these women do not have the money that they protest that they have on this show. I think a lot of them, except for people like Bethany, are keeping up with the Joneses. I don't think that Dorinda is faking a funk. I think that she is living, well within her means. But I think the Countess is definitely living above her means. I think that Sonia is definitely living above her means. And I think that Ramona, I never thought that about Ramona until this episode. Ramona is faking the funk. But you know what? I'm not really surprised. I'm not really surprised. When I lived in New York City, let me tell you something. Them wealthy Upper East Side women were always down Canal Street trying to get a fake purse. Everybody's faking it. Everybody's faking it. The people who really have the money be looking mad raggedy on a daily. I remember the richest kid in my school would get dropped off and picked up by a limo. He had a driver, that met him outside, opened the door, put his book bag in, closed his door, whatever. And you know how that kid dressed? He had holes in his jeans, holes in his shoes. His sneakers were just filthy. His clothes were filthy. His hair was filthy. He just looked dusty and busted. You would have never thought that his family was one of the wealthiest families in Pennsylvania. You would have never thought just by how he dressed. He didn't care, right? Because money wasn't a problem for him. So he didn't need to impress people because he just had money. That's why we find a lot of times that people who are flexing and have to show you how much money that they have, they really don't have it. And that is exactly what Ramona is doing. Ramona is acting like she has all this money, like she is this 1% wealthy person. She really don't have it. She really don't have it because there's rumors that she is being fired or demoted to a friend on this show. And I think that woman is going to unravel because without the show, what else does she have? She keeps on talking about how successful her jewelry and her skincare line is, but she's the only one that says that. Nobody else says that. Not even Forbes. Just Ramona. I think if she gets demoted or fired from this show, you're going to see the real tea about Ramona. Everybody on this cast, except for Dorinda and Leah, are living paycheck to paycheck. And maybe Elise. Is that her name? Where is she? No shade. Listen, I know we needed a friend of the show, but she was just not a good match. She just wasn't. I don't know if she had too much work done, so she really couldn't, move her face. But she has been giving me Coraline the entire season. Like, there's nothing going on. There's nothing there. Like, there's no kind of personality. There's no, movement in the face. You don't see any emotions. Like, I'm not getting anything from her. I'm not getting the reads. I'm not getting the fashions. I'm not getting the tea dropping. Nothing from her is exciting. No shade. You're probably a fun person outside of this show. A lot of people freeze up on camera. It's really hard. I'm sitting here talking to a camera, right? But it's just me. I'm in the privacy of my home. When you're on set, you have a bunch of people around you and you have to act like they are not there. Sometimes your representative shows up and not the fun, outgoing person that you are. Maybe that's happening with Elise. Maybe she just freezes on camera. I don't know what it is, but no shade, she is not interesting. If you want to be a friend of the show, be a Sutton. Be a Marlo Hampton. That's how you do friend of the show. Elise is not bringing it. We have to shake this cast up next season. I want Aviva back. I want Heather back. I want Bethany back. Although she said I'm not coming back. She stated that on Twitter today. She meant that. But if she doesn't come back, we need somebody in Leah's age range. We need a younger person. We need somebody early 40s, late 30s, somebody that Leah can click up with, because this whole episode showed that they need a younger person on the show. Yeah, maybe Heather. Maybe Heather and Leah could click up, but we need younger energy on the show. We need Leah to have a support system, and she does not have it on the show. She's trying to build girlfriend relationships with women who are 30 plus years older than her. That's very difficult. Bring back Heather. Bring back Aviva. You cannot bring her, if he's still alive, you can't bring that sketchy father. You will get that show canceled with the quickness, okay? But I like Aviva. I mean, anybody who will use her leg as a prop to get some ratings is somebody who will do what she needs to do to give you a good season. So I like me some Aviva. I like me some Heather. I really like Carol. A lot of y'all hated Carol, but I like Carol. I like Jill Zarin. She's messy. She will give you a show. We need, somebody like that back because this formula is just not working. Leah's being ganged up on. Ramona is just being nasty. The Countess, because of her issues, is not, giving what she normally gives. Dorinda and Sonia are just going to be drunk. Like, that's it. And we've had that so far. And it's boring. So we got to mix this cast up or just give us all new people. Listen, the world is changing. Make this cast diverse. There are wealthy women in New York City who are dipping in and doing it and have better fashions. Get those broads. That's what we need. We need something like that because this show is just, it's not holding up to past seasons. And although a lot of people don't like Bethany, she is missed on the show. You can see how she contributed. What do you guys think? Let's talk about it. So now let's talk about this charity event. I thought it went over really well. I like that the ladies had a spa day. I wish there would have been more, black hair and makeup people doing these makeovers because, no shade, but some of these makeovers were make-unders. Some of these ladies look better when they walked in than when they left out, but I like the fact that they just love being pampered. I thought the actions, the intent was beautiful. The outcome needed some work. Needed a lot of work. Now let's get into the drama. So before we get into the drama, can I just say, when Dorinda was over there trying on them wigs, and she tried on this brunette wig, and she told the hairstylist, she asked the hairstylist if she could try it on, and he was like, sure. And she was just like, I always thought I would look better as a brunette. And she put the wig on, and he was like, no. Like, he didn't even give her a chance to adjust the wig, to put it on correctly. He looked at that wig on Dorinda's head and he said, no, you do not look better as a brunette. Anyway, let's get into the mess. So Leah is obviously like really down, right? When she gets to this event, Ramona is obviously ignoring her because that's what, Ramona does. She is purposefully icing her out and she feels uncomfortable. She feels ostracized. She also is feeling really bad because Messy Sonia told her what Ramona said about her, how, she was the only snafu at her party. And she also hated the fact that Ramona's sister said to her that she cheapens the whole group. So she's just feeling really down. She's feeling like she doesn't belong. She already came into the show feeling some way because she does not make as much money as the other ladies or protests to make as much money as the other ladies. So she was already feeling like, she didn't belong. And then Ramona, who is a senior member of this group, othering her just made her feel even worse. So you can obviously tell that Ramona and all her antics and just her messy, mean girl behavior has taken a toll on Leah. You can see it. Her energy was just gone. Her light was gone. She was not the Leah that we have grown to love. While Ramona is talking to Sonia about her party, again, about this damn party, Leah, walks in because she's just like, I'm uncomfortable, so I'm just going to say something to her so we can finally talk about it. Sonia is intentionally like not, making eye contact with her, acting like she's not in the room, and it's pissing Leah off. I will say this. When I'm at war, that is one of the things that I do. Girl, let me tell you something. If you want to get under anybody's skin, pay them dust. Act like they do not exist. As you can see, Ramona never made eye contact and Leah unraveled. She never looked that girl's way. She never acknowledged her presence and Leah lost it. That is a go-to tactic. Let me tell you something. Your enemy walk in a room, you act like they're vapor, like they don't exist, sickens them. Subtle, but effective. So Leah is just unraveling because she's already been so beat up by Ramona. She's standing there. And this woman who has talked about her and made her feel extremely low is acting like she does not exist. And this is not the first time that Ramona has done that to her. So while Ramona is talking to Sonia, Leah just loses it. She waits to get a moment in and she just starts dragging Ramona. And Ramona never looks up. That makes Leah so angry, she just leaves. And she's just like, your sister talks about I cheapen the group. B, I elevate this. You do. You do. Because a lot of people would have checked out if you weren't on this show this season. Give Leah her flowers. She came and did what she had to do. So before we move on, I do want to talk about this one moment that happened with Ramona and one of the ladies who came for the spa day. So there was a black woman, a sister. She was sitting down, enjoying the sandwiches. She was an invited guest by Luann in the program. And so she's sitting there eating, and Ramona decides to, talk to her about, her time in prison. Ramona does not know her. This woman is a total stranger to her. She tries to ask her questions about her personal business. And she asked her these questions in a way where it's very demeaning. Even her mannerisms is demeaning. She puts her hand on the lady and she's just like, oh, trying to act like she feels sorry for her. And she's just like, oh my goodness. So how long have, you been, and what were, you in for, like, what did you do? And the sister is looking at her and she's like, I don't know. What are you, I don't understand. She knows exactly what Ramona is doing. She knows exactly what Ramona is saying. She is not giving her any space. She knows who this woman is and she is dealing with her accordingly. I loved it. I said, go ahead on, Petty Queen, because she knew what Ramona was trying to do, but she was not playing ball with her. She was not going to let this 1% woman make her feel like she was her charity case, like looking down on her and just being like, oh my goodness, look at you. Oh, wow. Look at you. How did you survive such a horrible life? She knew what she was doing. She knew that it wasn't coming from a good place, that it was very performative, and she did not perform with Ramona, and I loved it. I knew exactly what that woman was doing. She knew what Ramona was trying to ask her, but it was the way Ramona asked her. So she would not give her that information. She was like, what, what, how long was I? What was I in for? She was asking the questions back to Ramona or giving them back to her so Ramona can hear how stupid she sounds. I love that scene. She played Ramona like a fiddle. Yes, Leah, I wish you would have stayed for that. So let's talk about this Sonja Morgan collection. I think this Sonja Morgan collection at Forever 21, oh no, not for Century. At Century 21, I think that this collection is not the Sonja Morgan collection that is on the website. I think this is Sonja Morgan and Century 21's collection. I think that they collaborated on this. I do not think those same fashions that is in that store is on Ramona's website or Sonja. Forgive me if I mix up their names. Ramona and Sonja, I constantly mix them up. Forgive me. If you watch the show, you know who I'm talking about. So I was on Sonja's website. The Sonja Morgan collection, that website is the equivalent of Shein for the elderly. Like, it is not the same fashions that was at Century 21. Not even close. Anyway, Ramona and Dorinda, right? Just those two. Was Luann there? No, I don't think she was. Luann, you look great in bangs. What don't you look great in? Ma'am, I don't know what you're doing. You're the one who should be selling skincare. Because you look great. You look, considering everything that you've been through and your genetic makeup, you should not look like that. You should not look like that. You look great. You need to sell skincare. I can't believe you haven't dabbled into that yet. But I digress. Ramona and I think it was just Dorinda are at Sonja's Century 21, grand opening or whatever. So they're going through the clothes and they, are saying it's really nice. It was really, really nice. Not what she has on the website. So I think she needs to continue to do stuff like this so you can have a really great collection if she continues to collaborate with department stores. I think her line will be very successful if there's a department, store collaboration. On its own, I don't think it'll survive. The fashions, the quality is not there. Ramona decides to take this time to tell the ladies about Leah's bipolar disorder. and not tell them about it. Like, oh my goodness, Leah is suffering with this issue. She used that information that one of her friends told her about Leah to demean her and shame her. She tried to use her mental illness to justify her disdain for Leah, and it didn't go over well. It didn't go over well with the fans. Andy got her together on Watch What Happens Live. It was really ugly, and honestly, for me, that was my breaking point with Ramona. I feel like with the way the world is moving, right, and TV reflects the world, the entertainment industry in general, right, I think this show has moved past Ramona. I don't think she is a vital member. I don't think you need to have Ramona on this show anymore. Sonya can go too. Sonya can go too, but Ramona specifically, that to me was the breaking point for me with, you know, how much I can take of Ramona, because that was just so ugly. I was just like, Leah never revealed that to us. She never brought that to the show. You did some digging on her, found out that she had a mental illness, and used it as a way to bash her. How awful. How ugly. It was so disappointing. And I was like, that was it. Like, that was the breaking point for me. I was just like, you know what? This show don't need you. It doesn't. Like, this show needs to be recasted anyway, but she can be the first to go, in my opinion. There's nothing redeemable about what she did at all. She specifically used Leah's mental illness to make the ladies dislike her and be afraid of her. How horrible. How horrible, Ramona. So now we're in Mexico, and Leah, who's already feeling terrible about, you know, the things that Ramona said about her and how Ramona has been treating her, is now feeling even worse than the last time that she saw Ramona, because she has now found out that Ramona has been telling all the women and anybody, you know, on the Upper East Side in the 1% circles about Leah's mental illness. Guys, like, I felt so bad for Leah. I felt so bad for Leah. As someone who has a person in my life who's very close to me, who I love dearly, the way that they have struggled with their mental illness and the shame that they have felt for being sick and the way that they have been treated by people because of, you know, their sickness or their illness, it's absolutely heartbreaking, because this is somebody who you love and you watch them go through complete hell within their mind and then having to feel bad because they're not okay. Because people are othering them and making them feel like they are not okay, like something, like they're broken, they're bad, they're, you know, they're not good people. So they hide these certain things, right? And then it gets to a point where they have to say something because, you know, sometimes they disappear or sometimes they can't get out of bed. And if you're very close to them, you see that something is going on. So you have to have the conversation. But to see how they struggle with that and how they feel bad when their illness starts to take over, I felt completely heartbroken for Leah, because I've witnessed it firsthand, and I could only imagine dealing with that knowledge that your mental illness that you did not tell this show is being released to the world and not through you. I felt bad for her. I wish she had somebody on here who could ride for her, that she had a really good relationship with, and that would really, because Dorinda was great. Dorinda was being so loving and mothering to her and just really comforting her. But Dorinda has a relationship with Ramona. They're friends, or they're, you know, they have history and they're in the same age range. She can only comfort and protect her to a certain extent, because also she's the new girl on the show. You got to be able to handle your own. So Dorinda is only doing enough, but she can do more, right? So I just felt bad for Leah. I felt bad for Leah, and I wish she had a partner in this, a buddy on the show, somebody who gets where she's coming from and somebody who can fight with her, because she's alone. She is alone in this cast, and it's so upsetting. It's so upsetting. Bring Heather back. I think her and Leah would do really well. If not, let us get a bad Afro-Latina from, you know, the Upper West Side of Brooklyn. Let us have that. Give us a real New York. That's what we need on this show. Cardi B, she from New York and she got the coins. I bet you she got more money than Ramona. Speaking of Ramona, another reason why I'm tired of her and she can just go. She walks into this beautiful home in Mexico. She sees the staff and she says, oh my goodness, servants galore. At this point, she's doing it on purpose because every season she has demeaned the staff, specifically people of color. We've seen her do it every season. She is aware of it. It has been talked about at several reunions. It's talked about all over Twitter. It's talked about in interviews. She knows this. She knows what she's doing. She is intentionally demeaning people of color in staff positions. I do not like it. That enraged me. And those people, the staff, had to sit there and take it because they're at work. She can go today. Sonya can go right along with her too, right? Because Sonya will make sense in her confessional. She'll say the right things about Ramona, the correct things about Ramona, and then in the scenes will like back down. You know what I mean? Won't confront her. But in a confessional, she's saying all of this stuff. Ramona is this, Ramona is that. She does this because she can, and all of this stuff, right? But then you're in this scene with her. You're talking about how terrible Ramona is in your confessional. You got your chutzpah, you got your balls in a confessional. But in the scenes, you say absolutely nothing to her. Not only do you not call Ramona or her terrible behavior to Leah that you were talking about in your confessional, not only do you not do that, you agree with her that Leah should have not done what she did, which was absolutely nothing. How dare you, Sonya? How dare you? You were drunk out of your mind, dragging that woman and breaking decorations for fun. But you can do that because you're Sonya Morgan. Who the hell cares? That name don't hold no weight for you. You're not JP Morgan. You're Sonya Morgan. All you have to your name is a condemned townhouse and a family crest that you can wear or profit off of. Wear them shoes around Dorinda and see what she do to you. Like, sis, stop it. I'm Sonya Morgan. Don't nobody care about that name. Are you Beyonce? Then you got some weight. Sonya Morgan? Who cares? The only people who are talking about you are the sales associates at Cachet. Or Chico's. That's it. That's where you matter. So stop it. Let's not jump on this bash Leah train with Ramona because you can go right with her. Use wisdom, sis. You need this check. Not only does Sonya need this check from this show, she needs help. That's another reason. Like, I feel like she has ran her course on this show. I also think that we're getting to the point where we are watching her turn into something that's completely dangerous for her. She needs help, guys. She needs help. I'm telling you right now. Sonya was not getting lit off of just no alcohol. Even Ramona, her good friend, mentioned it. She thinks that Sonya is mixing pills and alcohol. I believe her. I believe her. If it's not pills and alcohol, it's, Coke and alcohol. It got to be something. Molly and alcohol. She is doing something and adding alcohol to it because not only is she drunk, she's like bonkers. She is out of her mind at this dinner. Crazy thing about it is she thinks she's okay. And you know what? This could be a leap. But you know what? I don't put it past the rich. Not too long ago in Philly, a huge JP Morgan ship was stopped by the Philadelphia Coast Guard because this ship had like tons and tons and tons of Coke on it. Sonya, did you indulge in some JP Morgan Coke and then had a little bit of rosé? Is this combination? Because y'all can say if you want to that JP Morgan got all their money from banking. Those banks are a front. They dealing coke, cocaine, crack, meth. JP Morgan, you know what, I ain't even going, let me stop. Let me stop making accusations. I'm just kidding in case I come up missing. JP Morgan, I'm just joking. It's all jokes. All jokes over here. So a drunken Sonya decides to start the conversation with Leah and Ramona because they have both been avoiding each other. The fact that the person who is out of their damn mind at this table right now is starting the conversation, reconciliation conversation between Leah and Ramona, lets me know that this is not going to end well. Why is Sonya moderating this conversation? She can't even speak. She can't even sit up straight. She's slurring her words and she's just like, you shouldn't have done that. Well, Ramona, you were... And they're like talking to her. And I'm like, why are you letting her moderate this conversation? You two just start talking to each other. But they're talking to Sonya about the situation and then they're going back and forth and it just goes nowhere because Ramona realizes after Leah says to her, well, you're talking about my vagina to like everybody who will listen, the whole Upper East Side, and you also exposed my mental illness. And after Leah said that, Ramona knew she's on camera. There's no way she can argue that. There's no way she will look like a good person. So she starts all this crying and starts victimizing herself and walks away. And we get completely nowhere with these two. And this is what I think is going on with Ramona concerning Leah. The first thing I said is I feel like she is associating the side chick, Mario's side chick, with Leah. It's a problem with Leah because Leah represents what she cannot be. Because Ramona feels like if she was younger, if she was tighter, then maybe she would still be with Mario. So she looks at Leah and she hates her because she represents what she desires but cannot attain. She also dislikes Leah and wants to remove her from the group and wants to be very vocal about it and show that she does not like being in the presence of Leah because Ramona is a consistent social climber. She desperately wants to be a part of the 1% and she will do whatever she has to do to attain that status and to get in those white 1% circles. Somebody like Leah is very anti that image, right? So she's okay with Sonya saying that she has a fat puss, you know what I mean? Or, you know, jumping on ottomans and breaking mirrors because it's Sonya Morgan. You know what I mean? She has a pedigree last name. Leah's not pedigree, Leah's middle class. Leah is everything that Sonya wants to disassociate herself with because that is not accepted in those upper class circles that she desperately tries to be in. So she hates the fact that Leah is on the show because she cheapens the show, in Ramona's opinion. And she also hates the fact that Leah is on the show because she reminds her of something that she could not be. So Ramona's hate of Leah is double-sided. Again, none of it is Leah's fault. It's all Ramona. But that is what she's dealing with. She doesn't want to be around this middle-class girl with this slick mouth who wears hoop earrings and Little Kim dresses. She doesn't want to be associated with that because she's better than that. She sees Leah as that sister at the charity event that she was trying to be like, oh my goodness, you poor thing. Like that's how she can only handle Leah, by looking at her as if she's a charity case. That's the only way she can stomach her. So those two will never be able to have a cordial relationship on this show because Ramona is not comfortable being in Leah's presence. She cheapens the show for her and she's this young type thing and she does not want to be in the same room as her because of those two things. Ramona, I really hope you don't have to relive any of this through your child because sometimes people cannot see their own mess until they see it emulated through their child. So I really hope you're not able to understand Leah when Avery is dealing with the same things. I really, really hope that's not something that has to happen to you so that you can get it. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about with this episode. I enjoyed it. I think, not enjoyed, like it was really tough to watch, but you know, the show is telling a story and then next week is going to get, you know, even better because we're going to get more of the story. And I feel like the remainder of this season is going to give us, you know, the meat that we tune in for because the last couple of episodes have been lagging. I think it's also a casting issue. Like I said before, they got to shake it up. Next season, they have to shake it up or this show just won't survive. It won't survive with this same cast. What did you guys think about this episode? What did you guys think about some of the things that I said in this review? Did you agree or did you disagree? Let's chat about it in the comment section below. And if you like what you see here, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you next, if not Wednesday night, Thursday afternoon for the following episode of The Real Housewives of New York. Love you guys. Bye.